Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is my third update on my project pan of 2021. I'm also gonna update some of my Shop My Stash items in this video, so stay tuned until after the project pan updates for those Shop My Stash updates as well. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm Morgan. 2021 is the first year of my life that I'm doing a project pan, and so far it's been a really awesome experience. I would love to have you subscribe before you go today, and now let's go ahead and jump right into the updates. Okay, first let me just run through 3 things that aren't super thrilling in my project right now. The first one is my Milk Makeup Kush Mascara. If you've been here the whole time, you already know this, but let me repeat for anyone who might be new. I had 2 minis of this mascara at the beginning of the year, and my goal is to finish both of the minis up, and I'm counting that as if it's one full project pan item, so equivalent to one full mascara basically, and this is my second one. So you could say in some ways I'm halfway through finishing this one full-size mascara, but this one's hard to show progress on, so I'll just have to let you all know when it's done. Also from Milk Makeup, I have the cooling water, and I'm not going to put a side-by-side photo up of this one like I usually do because, as you'll see, I'm still at that mark that I made last time around. So I have just kind of forgotten to use this, frankly, so hopefully next time there will be more progress. And then the last kind of less exciting item is the L'Oreal Visible Lift Luminous Serum Tint. And this one is not exciting because I have tried to like get the excess air out of here so that I can kind of squeeze it and show you how far down I am, but I cannot get that air to stay out. It's like it suctions back up in there every single time I try. So we're kind of resigned to the fact that this is gonna be done when it's done, and it's gonna be kind of an exciting surprise for me when it does finally run out, because I can't even really tell based on like weight in my hands how much is left in here. And now let's throw in one exciting one. If you have been watching my Project Pan series this year, you know that this has been the bane of my existence. This Milani Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumper Lip Gloss. And you'll notice that there are only 2 lines on here, and that's because that top line is my January through now line. And then this past month, I really kicked it into gear. I decided I wanted to make significant progress on this, and I would say I did. This second line here, and I'll show you side-by-side photos of course as well, that second line indicates where I am now. I feel like that's a lot of lip gloss for only about 6 weeks. I do my updates about every 6 weeks. And considering the fact that that line did not move the whole first like 3 months of the year, I'm pretty excited to see some progress on this one. Another really exciting one is my Physicians Formula Healthy Powder. So I'll put up the side-by-side and you can tell that pan is way bigger. My project pan, I am allowing myself when I hit pan on products like this to rotate them out if I want, but I decided last time that even though I hit pan, I wanted to just keep using it to see how much I could use up. I am gonna still keep it in the project. I'm actually really enjoying seeing the progress on this one already, and now I've got one that probably should have been lumped in with those 3 at the beginning that were not super exciting. This is my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I know I've used a ton of this up, and I already knew that it didn't have tons of product left in it, but I've had it standing upright like this for a few days now without using it, and nothing ever runs down. It's a thick enough consistency that I'm not going to be able to ever show you like lines or marks, but in the past 6 weeks I used this every single time I did my makeup, which is usually a few times a week, so I know I've made significant progress on this, and I think unfortunately I can't really show you what it looks like. I definitely thought I'd be able to because it's clear packaging, but the product just never quite runs down there. But I do love this concealer, and it's a perfect summer shade for me, so I think I'll go through it pretty quickly here in these warmer months. Okay, and now I'm down to 4 items in my bucket to talk through, and spoiler, 2 of those items are gonna be rotated out, but I think I'm gonna make you wait and I'm gonna do the other 2 first. All right, so the first thing that I am keeping in the project a little longer is the Essence Brow Designer Pencil. I'll pop a picture on the screen of the side-by-sides of how much use I got out of this the past 6 weeks. And I just want to show you here as well, look at how tiny this is. This one is not going to hold on much longer. It's like almost impossible for me to sharpen now, and I used it today and I noticed that I fill things in much darker when a pencil's small like this because I'm like less flexible and wispy with my motions, but I will use it until I cannot use it anymore. So this little tiny shrimpy guy is still in my project pan, but I think it'll be done pretty soon. Although I keep saying that, and then somehow I'm still able to sharpen it and use it, and then I feel like I can't let it go yet. So we'll see. Maybe next time, maybe a few cycles from now. And in a similar boat is the L'Oreal Infallible Brown Pencil Liner. I have had this eyeliner for so long. I just don't wear eyeliner super often, and I go through it super slowly. So this is the only brown liner that I have open right now. And I have a backup brown liner that I really would like to get around to using. So I'm trying to consciously use this eyeliner a little bit more than usual. And I did make progress. It's not that there's no progress there. It's just that I know it's going to be such a slog to get through this whole pencil. I wish it were just going to be easier, but it's not, and that's okay. So now we are down to the 2 items that are rotating out of the project. The first is my Glossier Boy Brow. This is just completely dried up. I mean, like, I can't even run it through my brows anymore. It's just like an empty spoolie. At this point, there is no product left in here. I've scraped the sides and it doesn't hold my brows in place and it adds no pigment. So I know that this is done for, officially ready to go. And then also my L'Oreal Liquid Black Liner. So I'll put the side by side up here of how black this looked when I first rotated it in compared to when I tried to make marks on my hand for these photos for this round of the project pan, how absolutely pale it is. And it's to the point now where it doesn't even give me a black line at all. So it's definitely time to go. I enjoyed having this one in the project, honestly. I have been doing like tiny little flick wings with it and stuff, and I think it's been really cute and simple for like an everyday look. Showing the little like marks and lines and being able to actually see how the black pigment fades over time is really interesting to me. So this was a fun one. I liked having this in here, but it's time for it to go. So that means I rotated out 2 items, that Glossier Boy Brow and the L'Oreal Infallible Liquid Liner, and I'm ready to rotate 2 new things in. So the first of these 2 is going to be my Lipstick Queen Trance lipstick. I love this color for summer, but Lipstick Queen is not cruelty free, but it's just such a special color in my collection. It's like a beautiful cool toned plum, light colored plum, and it's a sheer formula. So it's just really gorgeous. And I think I'll be able to make significant progress before I decide to get rid of this. Someday coming up here, I'm probably just going to have to go through my collection and declutter the last kind of few small remaining non-cruelty free items, but I want to try to use them up the best I can before I just toss things. And then the other item rotating into my project pan is my Milk Makeup Hydro Grip primer. And this primer I really enjoy, but I know this little bottle is getting relatively old, and I've noticed that I'm not reaching for this as much as I used to. I feel like these days I'm doing pretty quick makeup. I'm not kind of like sitting around relaxing while I'm doing it quite as much as I used to. And the issue with this primer for me is that you have to put it on and then you really have to let it set down for like almost like 10 minutes. I really leave it on my skin for like almost 10 minutes before putting anything on top, because otherwise it pills instantly and you have to start completely over. So I feel like that inconvenience has been stopping me from using this product, and I just need to use it up. I just need to use it up. It's pretty old. I want to get the use out of it that I can, and then I want to find some sort of replacement in my collection that's a little more affordable. So those are my project pan updates. I rotated 2 products out and 2 products in, and I made pretty significant progress on a lot of other things as well, I might add. But I do want to use the second half of this video to give you all an update on the Shop My Stash little mini project I have going on. So just as a quick recap for anyone who's new or to refresh your memories, I'm doing kind of a really informal, non-full face Shop My Stash project. I don't want to pick like one product from every category and have a full face of Shop My Stash items. That feels too restrictive to me. However, there are sometimes products in my collection that I want to either get to know a little bit better, use more often, or I want to make a decision about them if they're kind of like on the chopping block or they're an item I'm not sure I really love and want to keep. So that's kind of how I'm using my Shop My Stash, as kind of just a way to use some things and think about them a little more often and have them in my mind when I'm picking my makeup out for the day, but not to like hold myself to any certain expectation that I'm going to use them constantly. So last time around, I picked out 4 items and I'm ready to rotate one of those out. So I want to give you some updated thoughts on it. And then I'm going to pick something to replace that product as well. But real quick, here are the 3 things that are staying in my Shop My Stash. I want to keep my 2 Daniel Sandler watercolors in there. I really, really loved having these kind of in the back of my mind while I was picking makeup the last few weeks. And I do think as the summer comes up, I'm going to be even more inclined to reach for these really, really peachy tones. So I want to keep these ones in at least one more rotation. And then I'm also going to keep my Alter Ego Canyon palette in here. So this is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. I'm actually wearing this palette today and I've really, really loved it. And I think going into summer here and maybe even into fall, we'll see. I really want to try out some specific color combinations out of here. And if you've been keeping up, that means I'm ready to rotate out my Kokie Be Bright Concealer. Real quick, if you've been following along with my channel, pause the video and leave me a comment down below and vote. Do you think I'm keeping this in my collection or do you think I'm decluttering it? So go ahead and pause, let me know. Okay, so some of you might be surprised to find I'm keeping this concealer. I have had really an up and down kind of roller coaster experience with this concealer. It's definitely too light of a shade for me. In the winter, I think it's okay. I think it matches well enough. But the issue with concealers that are too light and bright for my skin tone is that I have naturally just dark pigment and circles under my eyes. And a light concealer that's kind of this like lower medium coverage, which is what this Kokie concealer is. It's definitely not a high coverage concealer. So when you combine that lower coverage with a lighter shade, it actually almost emphasizes the dark circles. So I just kept feeling like, man, so many people love this concealer. There has to be a way that I can use this product, get good use out of it, and really enjoy using it. I don't want to just toss makeup. I really, really like to use what I have. And I'm happy to report I found a way that I love using this concealer. Mixing this concealer, that's just a little too light for me, with a peach corrector that's just a little too deep for me. And that combination has been outstanding. The peach corrector is a little bit more thick and creamy consistency, whereas this Kokie one is like very, very, very thin. So they complement each other super well, both on a shade scale as well as a texture scale. So I'm definitely keeping this around because that combo has been incredible. But I'm rotating it out of my Shop My Stash because I feel like I accomplished what I set out to achieve by having this in my Shop My Stash, right? My goal was to evaluate whether I think I should keep this in my collection or not. And it became clear to me very quickly that I could find a way to love using this. So I do want to keep this in my collection, but it rotates out of my Shop My Stash now. And in its place, I am rotating in my e.l.f. lipstick in the shade Pink Minx. Now this has kind of the same situation going on as that Kokie concealer. I got this lipstick and I got it at a time when it wasn't exactly the shade I was looking for, but I thought that maybe seasonally I would use it. So what I mean by that is when I got that Kokie concealer, I got it kind of in the summer and it was way, way, way too light for me. So I was like, well, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna hold on to it until winter and see if it's a better match. I have kind of a similar story with this e.l.f. lipstick. I got it in the fall, but to me, this like very peachy corally pink is a summer shade. I know that there are no rules with makeup. You can absolutely use any color shade of makeup any time of year. But for me, this just feels like a summer color. Just my personal preference. So I have held on to this lipstick since last fall, just in order to evaluate whether or not I'm gonna use it in the summer. The problem is I haven't really enjoyed the formula the few times that I've put it on. So even if I decide the shade is something I enjoy in the summer, I'm still not 100% sold on this formula. So I'm gonna use this lipstick consciously over the next few weeks. I'll give you updates as I go. I imagine this will be in my Shop My Stash for a few rotations just because it's kind of just early summer and I want to give it a fair shot. But this one is feeling a little grim to me. I'm feeling like the outcome for this lipstick might not be great. Okay, so that is it for updates on both my project pan and my Shop My Stash. I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below and consider subscribing to my channel before you go today if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.